Our first guest tonight is an Emmy and Grammy award-winning comedian, a New York Times best-selling author, and of course, the host of The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon. His new children's book, 5 Sleeps Till Christmas, is available now. Please welcome back to the show our very good friend and neighbor, Jimmy Fallon, everybody.
I don't know what to do.
Wide berth.
What do we do?
Berth.
I'm here. I know we can't do anything now. I'm here. Why?
Yay!
I wanted to see everybody. There's nobody here, so
Yeah,
wonderful.
we got we're 7 strong.
Wow. Hey, guys, you're doing a great job, everybody. Hi, I miss everybody.
Thank you. By the way, you did a great job first. You came back in August, and it was very nice to. Yeah, I came on your show virtually.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for sort of like showing the path forward of how to do these shows without.
How are you dealing?
It's weird.
It's bizarre, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bizarre, but I think we're getting there. You know, everyone's doing it safely here, and I think we're doing the right things and doing what we're supposed to be doing, entertaining.
Yeah, I mean, it's very nice to know. Ideally, it's the same amount of people, obviously, watching at home. We're hopeful, and but it's so many less in the audience. You had such a great relationship with your live audience. It was a party to be a guest on your show.
I made it my thing where I would go and slap hands at the end of the show. Why would I invest in that move? I might as well go lick people. I can't do. I definitely can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that dated badly. And you had that recurring bit called Super Spreading with Jimmy Fallon. That's dated badly.
Yeah, but that was about man spreading. It was about a subway thing. It was ahead of its time, really ahead of its time. It was like, what was I thinking? Yeah. No, I mean, I remember even around March just going like, hey, we shouldn't hug the guests anymore or shake hands.
Yeah.
And then we were elbowing and then we were bowing and then I go, now we were ignoring.
Yeah.
And I just would ignore my guests for 5 minutes, come back for a commercial and then ignore them for another 3 minutes.
You have some, it's a very, obviously like here we have some crew, every now and then you hear them, they're pretty picky when it comes to jokes. What about you guys?
You gotta keep it real, man.
What have you figured out?
All right, what we've done is we have our writers and our crew sit in the audience, and they're very, very giving and very nice. We feed them great food. Now, I don't know what we do. We just beg them to clap and laugh for us. And then we allow, I think, 5 people from the building to get tickets to our show and spread out, and so that was a total.
People have already been tested on their way into the building.
Yeah, and then we have Studio 6B. We have some staff sit in there and watch the show and get audio footage from them watching the show on TV.
That's
great.
great.
We try to mix it together. So it's a total of probably 15 people.
It's amazing, though, when you have been with 0.
I will take it, man.
Yeah.
I honestly, for 5 months, I didn't know what was funny at all. I had no idea. I go, and my wife was holding the camera, and she wouldn't laugh. And I go, well, just give me a little thing. Would it hurt to just go like, that's a good one, or either disguise your laugh if you want to. But
people have said that to me over the course of the summer. They say, did you at least invite Alexi up to hear some laughs? And I'm like, what makes you think? Of all people.
Alexi sent me up to the attic. She's like, dude, go do your little show somewhere else, please. How are the boys?
The boys are good.
Yeah.
They, again, I'm sure your daughters felt the same way. I mean, they thought, oh, this is way better. You figured it out. You should always do the show here in the attic, and then we can see you for lunch, and then you'll go up. And it shouldn't take as long. Obviously, you still made an hour of television, and you were done by 3 in the afternoon. So the way you do it in New York is stupid. I think that's how they felt.
That's how they felt, yeah. My daughters, they had no idea that it was even airing anywhere until I think we got masked when we went to Kmart, and in the parking lot, someone was like, I know you. You're famous or whatever. And my kids were like, yeah, I guess so. I mean, my dog is now,
Your dog, yeah. So here's Gary.
Yeah, she's wearing disguises now when she goes out because she doesn't want to be recognized.
Right, so, yeah.
She still won't wear a mask, weirdly enough. She's one of those dogs.
People recognize Gary.
Yeah, when I walk the dog, they're like, yo, Gary, what's happening? And everyone, kind of, and they we've done things, Drew Barrymore voiced Gary over the summer. We had a bit where we made the dog's mouth move, I don't know, and Drew was the voice of Gary, so that was a pretty popular thing for our show. And then, we released a line of pajamas.
Oh, yeah, I have a picture of the pajamas right here.
With Alex Mill, with the proceeds going to Feeding America. 100% of our net proceeds went to that.
Be honest, because pajamas is a great name.
Thank you.
How quickly did you come up with it? And then did you come up with pajamas first and then realize you had to make pajamas?
I have to do something with it. I have a list of those ridiculous ideas. But no, I actually went with I made a thing with Mickey Drexler. We made these. There were iPhone cases that when you put them in your suit pocket, they look like pocket squares.
Oh, yeah.
And they did really well.
Pajacket squares. I remember.
The giant in Sweden, they were giant. Like, that's how you spell Pajacket squares.
Yeah.
Bajorican squares. And so we did that and saved a bunch of elephants with that thing. So then I saw him out to dinner somewhere, and he goes, "What else could we do?" And I go, "Well, let's think of something." He goes, "Well, how about clothing? Anything?" I go, "Sure, let me think of an idea." Of course, I'm thinking of inventions and things. And like I thought of like a hat, a baseball hat that's connected to the hoodie. So then that could be a bad idea. And he was like, "Yeah, let me think about that." No. But he goes, "How about like pajamas?" And I go, "Yeah, I wear pajamas all the time." He goes, "We spend 1/3 of our life wearing pajamas. We should really dedicate some time to making the best pajamas. What's the problem?" I go, "Well, I have notes already. I want pockets in my pajamas. I think that the crotch hole is too big and not completely closable. It's
Right.
like usually like a tiny button, and you go, it's too dangerous.
Right. Yeah.
Too dangerous for me to walk around with that little button.
If you have to run out to get the mail
Yeah, if I
and
have
the
to-
wind blows.
Thank you. You know how many times that happens? For me, it's like a quiet man when I go to get I run out and things happen. And so I go, I want that. So it's a fake pee hole. It's closed. I don't know what you fly. So that's closed. And then
I think pee hole's better.
thank you. We were going to call them pee holes originally.
Pajee holes.
Pajeels. I got to laugh this way. Dude, we came up with that thing. We had a Pajimmy Jammy Jam on the show, and we sold out in night.
That's
And
great.
all the money went to Feeding America, so it was a good cause, and it was just cool. And it's like, so my kids were part of that photo shoot, and then now they kind of, they think they know how to pose now and be famous. So every time I take a picture of them, they pose.
Yeah, this is someone who really thinks she knows how to pose.
Yeah, and I go, Franny, you do not have to pose. That's not I was just taking a picture of you in your bed. Just let me take a photo. I thought your sweater was cute. And she's like, everything. She just keeps going, everything. So everything's that. And then the other one gets involved.
This one's a little looser with the pose. I feel like.
Well, she was trying to guess maybe two hands is better than one hand with the pose. But now my kids won't do anything but pose for photos. And I go, no, that's not how. You can just take an actual photo. You don't have to really do this. But it's the cutest thing, man. I'm loving
natural,
it.
like the giraffe. Like the giraffe is like being itself.
Right? Just be natural. Exactly correct.
This is. We're gonna be right back. We're gonna talk about your fourth book.
Wow. Is it though?
We'll be right back with more from Jimmy Fallon. Those are outstanding shoes.
What are you talking? Am I wearing shoes?
They're so good. You might not remember this. My first year on the show, it was a time you were on the show longer than me. And although this never happened for me, so maybe had not anything to do with tenure, but people would send you shoes. And you would have like boxes of shoes. And I remember once you were being very cool. It was my first year on the show. You're like, "Hey, you want these shoes?" And they were like these orange, furry Adidas shoes.
Yes, I remember those.
You remember them, right? They're the ugliest shoes in the world, but I just assumed because you gave them to me, they were cool shoes. And I remember wearing them to see my college friends. I'd basically been on the show for 3 months and just like walked into a Chicago bar and they were like, "No!"
Yeah, what the heck? He gave them to you for a reason. No one should wear those shoes. They look like Muppets.
Yeah, they were Muppets.
They were fuzzy shoes.
And they were real bad.
They were awful.
It was an act. I'd like to believe it was an act of you were testing me.
I remember
I failed.
everything I got sent, I used to wear because it's free clothes. So I go, oh, this is amazing. And I think, I want to say Hugo Boss sent me a jacket. It was one of the first things I got. And it was silver, like metal silver, like aluminum foil.
Right.
And I go, I guess I can wear this? And I went to a bar over on 9th Avenue or something, wearing this aluminum foil jacket at like 3 in the morning. And I got mugged. And these guys were like, give me that jacket. I go, absolutely. You got it, man. The guy was like, I almost wanted to give it to him too fast. He was like, you know what? We're cool. And I go, You don't want the jacket? He's like, I don't actually. I go, okay. And I left. I go, I'm never wearing this dumb
A mugger, when I wore your shoes, a mugger stopped me and gave me money for new shoes. This is it. This is your fourth book.
Unbelievable.
And this is the most words in any of your books.
This for me is a real tour de force. This is like my Goldfinch. This is unbelievable. What I've done here was finally got my money's worth on my laptop.
Yeah.
It's like really, I go, the other books have kind of been like text messages turned into books.
But I will say, as someone who has your other books, they're wonderful for a certain age, and I imagine that your kids get a little older, and then you write a book that they will be into.
Yeah, so this one is, what happened is I always wanted to do a Christmas book, and I just couldn't think of what the hook was or what I want to do, because I'm telling you, man, it's the coolest vibe when you write a book, and it was, Dada, Moo, Dada Quack, that was the first book, and then you get these videos of these kids reading the book with their parents back to you, and it's awesome. You can start getting I got videos from teachers saying like, hey, you're teaching confidence in these kids to that laugh and know that reading's cool, and you go like, oh my gosh, of course, that was my plan the whole time. And so you get a good buzz, and so I was walking Winnie home from school one day, and she goes, how many more sleeps till we go to, and she doesn't even have a lisp. I just did that because it makes her sound cuter. And she goes, no, but she goes, she was so cute. How many more sleeps till we go to Grandma's house or something? I go, my kid sounds like Jay Leno now. My kid is, she's, how many more sleeps till we go to Grandma's house? Dude, I get everything from Leno. I get everything my kids talk like Jay
Leno.
Leno.
Because you're a good impressionist, and now we're seeing you can't do your kids.
Can't do my kids.
It's like your blind spot as an impressionist.
So she goes, I go, how many more sleeps? That's so cute. I didn't have sleeps when I was growing up. I had days. How many more days? So something I go, 5 more sleeps till Christmas will be cute, because I couldn't always wait for Santa to come. And
I was talking to my son about Christmas and telling him how I could never sleep the night before Christmas, and then I realized it wasn't a helpful thing to tell him, because I'm basically giving him an excuse to now turn around, on Christmas Eve and be like, "You couldn't do it either, old man."
But the fun about these things too is you make it short enough so that it counts as a book, but it's also long enough so it is a book. But there's spaces in there so that you can go like, yeah, these are toys that he's dreaming about, and then you go like, when I was a kid, I had a dream about this toy, and my favorite toy, I remember I was growing up, I wanted this robot called Marzon. It was a walking robot. And it was in, I just saw the commercial for Marzon. And I go, oh, I'd love that. So I asked Santa for Marzon. And so basically what Marzon was is an inflatable robot that you hooked this plastic thing to the feet and turned it on, and the plastic would move the robot and whatever. And I think Santa was testing out the eggnog the night before. Let's just say the plastic part didn't come with my Marzon. So I got an inflatable doll for Christmas. And I walked in, I go, oh my gosh, Marzon, Santa's the best. And I go in, and it's just an inflatable robot. And that's all it does. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't walk. No, that part did not come with my toy. But I mean, you tell these fun stories when you're reading to your kids. You're like, oh, I remember I did this and all that stuff. And then the spoiler at the end of this, my M. Night Shyamalan of children's book authors, at the end is you see that it's all about the buildup of getting the toys. It's all about the fun and the singing and the decorating and this type of a year and just getting to it. And that's kind of the point of it. The kid wants to get excited for next Christmas.
Which does also make sense, because ultimately, even if your Marzon had the right stuff, about an hour into it,
I wouldn't be playing with Marzon. My grandfather used to throw it out of the upper window when a school bus would come and pick me and my sister up in front of our house, and he would just try to embarrass me every time he could, because all the kids are on the bus waiting for us, and we'd get on the school bus, and he would come out in a clown wig or something, and they'd be like, what's going on? And then I remember he threw Marzon out the second floor window, and everyone's like, what is going on? The Fallons are so weird, man. Please be a comedian when you grow up. Yeah.
Congrats on the book, my friend, and thanks for being here. You're going downstairs to do a show now.
Yeah, here we go.
Here we go.
No, I gotta say thanks for doing what you're doing, man. And this is, I was like, I gotta come up and tell you guys you're doing a great job, because I watch you every night, and yeah, I really appreciate it, bud. You're awesome.
Right back at you.
Best to Lexi and the kids.
And the same to you. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon airs weeknights at 11:35 p.m. right here on NBC. I feel like that if you're watching this, you knew that.
Yeah, if you go back in time. It's like, who's watching this? Cher? If I could turn back time.
Wait, is that Winnie?
Yeah, I'm doing it. That's my Jay Leno impression.
5 More Sleeps Till Christmas available now wherever books are sold. But now is a great time to support your local and independent bookstores.